Hey, it's Gabriel, and on this video I want to discuss even more reasons why network marketing makes so much sense. But before I do, please, I would ask you to like and subscribe and click that bell. It really does help me a lot, and I really do appreciate the support. Now, if you follow me for any length of time, you may know I've been in direct sales network marketing for over 30 years. Love the industry. I've been in a bunch of companies, helped a lot of people, helped a lot of companies, and we've seen a lot of success. But all of these years later, I still see the same fundamental challenges. There's nothing new. It's the same stuff, and we have to revisit the same stuff with everybody, no matter how long they've been in the industry, whether they've been in for years or they're just joining, because the stuff keeps coming back up again. So one of these hot buttons that keeps coming up is how quickly that people are snuffed out or taken out once they've joined a company. Because here's what happens. They'll Google something or they'll do a search and they'll find a video or somebody will say something, and suddenly that statement or that video that is not even qualified, we don't even know who the person is, suddenly planted a seed in them, and suddenly the next time you turn around, they're not even in anymore. And it's the smallest little things. And so I always like to address this stuff so that you are not taken out. The industry is too amazing. Remember this, guys, the entire working world is shifting to a home-based business more than ever in history. And we won't even go through the statistics, but the numbers are astronomical of the people that are deciding to work for themselves. They're terrified how to do it. They, as I've trained on this before, people they can work for a company for 30 years, never miss a sick day, right? Never. Miss ball games and important things in life, sacrifice everything, hang their mortgage, where they live, where their kids go to school, all in the guarantee that a company or corporation is going to take care of them. But if that company decides to close the department, or the owners decide that they wake up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning, and now your job isn't as important as it was the day before, suddenly there's a box on your desk, and we just can't. In my opinion, we just can't put that kind of faith in a company we don't own. Now, to argue the point also, when you join a direct sales company, you're not the owners, right? So I guess we could use the same argument. Well, what if they go away tomorrow? I get that. Then you also have to be wise to not put everything in your life into one basket. No matter what you do, that's wisdom. You want to have diversification, and you want to make sure that you're protecting your family in case a company decides to do whatever, whether that's in traditional companies or in direct sales network marketing companies. Well, one of the things I want to talk about is how quickly people are snuffed out once they join. They're excited, they want to change their lives, they want to get a little bit of income added to their bottom line, or they really see how powerful the industry is because of leverage, and they want to go for it. But then sometimes the smallest little things get in the way. Well, so the other day I'm watching a training video, because folks, as much as I train people, I create courses, I wrote a book on this industry, I'm constantly training people, I still train myself, I still educate myself, I still pour into myself. That's one of the big ones. You can't, you never arrive. Life is a series of mentors, right? And so as soon as you hit a ceiling, suddenly you need somebody else that's broken that ceiling to help you get to the next ceiling. And so I'm always pouring over the information so that I can get better and stay sharp. And so it also makes me more fluid to help others, right? Well, so I'm watching this training video, and this other video, a suggestion video pops up. So it pops up, and it had to do with the industry. And this lady gets on and starts just blasting it. Why it says this and why it says that and the history of it. And she literally sewed together these inconsistent points to build this argument about why the industry is basically just a giant scam and it's all garbage. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's a pretty strong statement, especially with the poor argument that she just gave. So this went on for about 2-3 minutes, and then she says, but hey, before we continue on the real meat of this thing, I want to tell you who's sponsoring our video. And then she went on for another 2.5 minutes doing this giant infomercial for the sponsor of the video. Well, and when you watch the other videos they do, they have all kinds of sponsors sponsoring their videos. And I guarantee you they are companies that these people care nothing about, have nothing to do with, but because of view count, That company wants to sponsor them. Why? So they can potentially make more money as a company because of eyeballs. And I thought to myself, listen to the hypocrisy there. Here she is blasting an industry saying, hey, isn't that one of those things where you join and people come under you and you get a piece of other people's actions? And yet, here she is doing a video, blasting our industry, and bolstering a sponsor to monetize eyeballs that are watching her video, because the title is one of those manipulation titles that says, you know, it's a scam, or why so-and-so is such and such. And so you get countless people that are going to watch it by default, because human nature always falls for that. And then the very thing that she's arguing against, she's actually doing herself. And I know people that have watched stuff like that and just go, the industry is bad. And I'm like, you need to sit down with me and talk. Whether you stay with this company or not, or you go somewhere else, or you quit the industry altogether, we need to have a sober conversation. Because how dare an outside voice, an opinion, an illogical argument come in and snuff out when 2 days earlier, 3 days earlier, yesterday, a month ago, you were excited and realized that this was the answer for your family to change your life. And, you know, so anyway, there's all that junk out there. You have to be so clear with your vision, and you have to be so clear with understanding how, well, let me put it like this. Do you know why I love network marketing, direct sales so much? You know why? It's a leveraging model, just like any other wealth model. Let's make that real clear. The banking industry, let's think about banks. Banks take your money, give you little to nothing in return, use your money to make a fortune, and then make it very hard for you to get your money and make you jump through hoops to get loans and all. But they're buying shopping malls and investing in massive things, but giving you little to nothing. Okay? Think about a real estate broker. And I'm not knocking the banking industry as a whole, right? Because I just talked about a video that blasted our industry. But factually, right, you are dependent on the bank, but you're not getting a whole lot in return, right? But you have to have them. But at the same time, the bank is taking the money from multitudes of people and using it in their favor to leverage for their own portfolio, or the owners of the bank, or whoever it is, right? Think about real estate agents, right? Well, I talk to realtors, because we have a lot of real estate agents that have joined us, but we also talk to brokers, because we've had a lot of brokers that have joined us over the years. Think about the brokerage. The broker is looking for talented realtors, right? And when the real estate agents join and sell houses and pay their dues, right, the broker gets a piece of the sale, right? Amazon, every single time a product moves through Amazon, the owners and the company make a little tiny piece of it. Leverage. I'm talking about leverage, guys. The banking industry is about leverage. It's leveraging money. The real estate industry, or realtor industry, right? Or if you're an agent, you are leveraging the talent and the skills and the exposure that your agents are doing. And the more because you can only sell so many houses, but if you have 100 agents and you get a little piece, would you rather have a little bit of a lot than a lot of a little bit? Of course. And it's a great model. It's a brilliant model. And it's amazing how many people change their lives in that industry. Like I said, think about Amazon. Think about, what's the word? Affiliate, right? You see this all the time. Somebody will do a video, and underneath it, every item they talked about is listed, right? And if let's say 20,000 people watch the video, and 60 people buy something in that list, in the description, well, it kicks back to the person that originally listed it through the affiliate link, and they get a little piece when people buy the equipment for the eyeballs. Why? Because they've educated the industry, they've created an environment, they've created a platform where people are informed and money exchanges hands, and because they created that momentum, they get a little piece of it. And what's wrong with it? What's wrong with the banks making money and investing it when you put it in? That's their business model. It's a leveraging model. What's wrong with a broker, a real estate broker, making money when the 67th real estate agent sells a house and the broker gets a little piece of it? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Amazon getting a piece anytime anything is sold globally through Amazon's networks? Nothing. And you know what? They may or may not like the product. It doesn't matter. They are the facilitators of that commerce. Got it? Affiliates. Guess what? There's people that use affiliate programs for anything and everything. Hey, come to the bank, and if you open up a checking account, we'll give you $200. And if you tell 3 of your friends, we'll give each one of them a $200 gift card. Oh, wait a minute. What does that sound like to you? Right? Everything's working like this. Come to the dealership. If you refer somebody, we'll give you, $1,000 this way, or $500 this way, or $200 this way. Everybody is saying, listen, if you help expose who we are to others, we'll give you a piece of it. In network marketing, I join a company. I share about the products and the opportunity. I talk about why I'm doing it, what it can do for your life. Okay? Depending on the level that somebody engages, they get a hold of it. They tell people, they tell people, they tell people, they tell people. I coach, I train, I speak life over the teams, I encourage, I train organizations. And all of the volume, all of the sales that happen because I help to instigate it, I get a little bit more on the top because I'm more involved. And as it goes down through the levels, I get a little bit less because my influence, my direct influence is less, and it gets more fractured out. But because we help to instigate that entire organization and the volume in the business, I get a little piece of it. It's called leverage. I've trained on this. Any man can count the seeds in an apple, but God can count the apples in a seed. If you take a seed and you eat it, I liken that to you wouldn't eat the seed, but if you take an apple that has seed in it and you eat it, well, now the apple's gone. Now you got to go get another apple, right? I liken that to working for a wage or working for an hourly rate, because you work, you get an apple, you eat the apple. Now you've got to go work again to get another apple to eat the apple. Sometimes you can save the apple. Now sometimes you can get enough apples to give to your family. And that's great. And a lot of people provide that way, and such is the history of business, right? But when you can take that apple, say, okay, I took that apple, but now I'm going to take the seeds out of that apple. I'm going to tell you how good the apple is. I'm going to enjoy the apple. I'm going to feed my family. But the potential of that apple, because there's seeds in it, I'm going to take those seeds and I'm going to plant those seeds in other people's lives. And as those grow, they're going to plant those seeds in other people's lives. I hope you're hanging with me. This does make sense. And eventually, right, you have a whole lot of apples because all of those seeds are now growing. And what happens is when you can create leverage, when you have leverage, right? We all learned this in school, right? You have the little triangle in the middle there, and you have the seesaw line, right? And they call it the fulcrum in the lever. I believe that's what you call it, right? Some of you are going to correct me if I'm wrong. But some people say that's how they built the pyramids. In a seesaw, if you have a kid that weighs more on one side and a kid that doesn't weigh as much on the other side, it's going to take more kids on the other side to lift the one that weighs more. And if you extend the lever out farther, then you can take somebody that doesn't have any strength, and they can take their finger and push it down if the lever's long enough, and they can move a massive amount of weight on the other side. That is called leverage. You either have leverage or you're being leveraged. The business world both has leverage, and sometimes they're being leveraged. You, in your job, you are probably being leveraged unless you have leverage. And one of the big reasons why I love our industry so much is you take somebody like me who I just didn't have much of a pedigree or an education, right? Just very hungry, very passionate to change my life. I found an opportunity. I watch people that have changed their lives. I see incredible products, incredible companies saying, hey, listen, instead of all the infrastructure and all the multi-millions of dollars of infrastructure and all the ad dollars and all of the stuff that we do, if you guys will be our mouths, if you guys will be our hands, we'll pay you that money. We'll reroute the profits, because in turn, you guys are going to share the message, and we're not paying an agency or to advertise for it. So they're rerouting the money. Leverage. So I tell a few people, they tell a few people, they tell a few people, they tell a few people. It stops at some point, and I get a little bit of a percentage of that activity. It's leverage. So what happens is I'm able to basically create a very large company, if you will. My current direct sales company, right? The opportunity that my wife and I are involved with, we've been in it for almost 14 years, okay? We have a very large organization. We have businesses in 4 countries, and there's a whole lot of people involved. And we get to speak at large, both personally and at a macro level, to the teams, to the organizations, to the different countries. And as that business is stirring up, we just get a little tiny piece of that. Do you know how exciting that is? Do you know how exciting that is? It's not the lion's share. It's not a huge amount of money per product sold. It's a little bit of a lot. That is called leverage. I don't want 100% of my efforts. Hear me, guys. You either have 100% of your efforts, or in the model I'm talking about, you have a little bit, a couple percent of hundreds or thousands or more people's efforts. Do you know why companies succeed? Do you know why companies succeed? I'll say it a third time. Do you know why big companies make a whole lot of money? Because they have a whole lot of distribution, a whole lot of bodies, a whole lot of people that are in different departments helping to create growth for the company. All of that turns into a whole lot more exposure. The more exposure a company has, the more money they make. The reason Amazon makes so much money is because there are so many people involved, so many companies, tens of thousands, I don't even know how many companies have their products in Amazon, and because Amazon has created the exposure, the distribution mechanism for people to have their wares, their goods, no matter what it is, through that site, and then Amazon says, well, we will create the distribution network to get it to people quickly. They make, and they're one of the most successful companies on the planet, actually, ever in history, truthfully. I just want you to think like this. Think about leverage. Don't let crazy people's opinions steal the fact that you can create a mechanism in your family where you get a little bit of a lot. Because a lot of a little bit doesn't change lives that much, right? As hard as I work, I can only do so much. As hard as I work, there's only so many hours in the day. Even if I got very little sleep, let's say I got 4 hours of sleep, 2 hours for eating and getting ready. Let's just say 6 hours of my day is spent there, and the other, right, is spent purely working. Now, unless I'm making millions and millions of dollars an hour, you can only do so much in that period of time, right? I can only make so much because I'm making dollars for hours. So maximum, what am I going to work? 18 hours? 18 hours maybe? I will get paid on 18 hours no matter what I make. And hopefully I can make a whole lot more because the more I make in each one of those 18 hours, the more I can make. But it still is limited. There's still limitations to that. As I sit here right now and cut this video for you, and this is what I want for you right now, as I sit here, even while I did the video, during this period of time, there are people in 4 different countries, soon to be a whole lot more, all over the world, becoming customers, joining us in the business, becoming customers, joining us in almost, and the vast majority are customers. They will never do the business. Some decided to join the business and make a little extra money. Some decided to join the business and really go for it. Some are going to champion this thing and absolutely blow everybody's mind around them because that's what they want out of it. But isn't that how all of life is? You have a lot of adopters at a macro level, but as you whittle it down, then you have a few people that say, I really want to be a champion in it. But all of that is leverage. All of that is product sales. And all of those product sales, guess what they do? I get a little piece of it. A little piece of it. And I keep blowing wind on the fire. I keep throwing logs on the fire. I keep sharing it with folks. People join us personally. I help people. Other people help them join. this is called leverage. So technically, as I said earlier, I don't mean to make this too long-winded, but you got to hear this because it's so logical. It's so natural. It makes so much sense. It's like, aha, we miss it. I have thousands and thousands of hours a day that I get paid on. Even if it's a tiny little bit per hour, I get thousands of hours per day of productivity. That's how you can change your life. That's how a company creates massive success. That's how leverage works. That's how one apple with 8 seeds in it, if properly planted, could end up covering the ground of countless millions of acres with apple trees. When you find the potential of it, you tap into it, and then suddenly now there's leverage because of all of the productivity. And so all this got spurred on because I watched that video and I thought to myself, man, if that lady understood and if they spent the production time and the energy and quote research and all these little clips that they used, actually trying to understand the industry. Because it's what they're doing. They're creating a leveraging model to create financial success for themselves by leveraging their video and their view count and the way they do the titling and bashing an industry so that people will watch, because that's the way you do it when you don't have an argument. Look, when you don't have a foot to stand on, you just bash somebody else's. And then you're going to find sponsors that are going to do it because of eyeballs, and they don't care what the video content is. They don't even care what the subject is. They're just glad, oh, they got 40,000 views, 50,000 views, 100,000 views. We want to be sponsors of that because maybe some of those people will buy our stuff. And I just wish that people would put that kind of energy educating themselves on a residual income model so that while you sleep, while I sleep, and what I want for you is while you sleep, you are making money because of the network that was created, because of leverage, because the network marketing model is about you help to start that fire, and you're going to get a little piece as it matures and as it grows. It's a beautiful thing. It's why I love the industry so much. I hope this video has been encouraging to you. Again, please like and subscribe and click the bell. It does help me a ton. And go to GabrielSedlak.com. I've got an amazing course there that would be super, super helpful, specifically on dealing with all of this headspace for those people that have decided to work for themselves. But how do they navigate that? Sometimes it's very, very difficult. And I go into super detail, several hours of training that I do on that. And I've written a book on the industry, Cut It Out, Getting Your Head Straight in Network Marketing. You can find that also at GabrielSedlak.com. There's a link there to get that immediately. And again, I look forward to sharing more little nuggets with you because this is a great industry, folks. It's given me my life. Meaning, if you follow us, like I said, you'll always see that we have hashtags that say, design your life on purpose, never miss a moment, outlive your critics, the Sedlak pack. Never miss a moment is, I have a business that runs where I get a little bit of a lot consistently, day and night, day and night. Sorry. While I focus on my family, while I don't miss time with my kids, while my wife and I get to do everything together, while we get to dream. What kind of company offers that? What kind of business model allows you to create a mechanism where you can create a level of financial freedom so that you can actually dream again? Make more than just what your two hands can do. That's a big point I wanted to end this thing with. Network marketing gives you the ability to reap and benefit from a whole lot more than your two hands can do. That's why it's so beautiful. And that's one of the reasons why people blast it, because they don't understand anything that doesn't happen inside of their two hands. All right? See you guys on the next video. Bye.